My salvation. Our third reading is taken from the encyclical letter of Pope Francis from the end of last year. He loved us, Dilexit nos, on the human and divine love of the heart of Jesus. Article 7. As an illustration of this, I would repeat a story I have already told on another occasion. For the carnival, when we were children, my grandmother would make a pastry using a very thin batter. But when she dropped the strips of batter into the oil, they would expand. But then, when we bit into them, they were empty inside. In the dialect we spoke, these cookies were called lies. My grandmother explained why. Like lies, they look big, but are empty inside. They are false, unreal. Instead of running after superficial satisfactions and playing a role for the benefit of others, we would do better to think about the really important question in life. Who am I really? What am I looking for? What direction do I want to give to my life, my decisions and my actions? Why and for what purpose am I in this world? How do I want to look back on my life once it ends? What meaning do I want to give to all my experiences? Who do I want to be for others? Who am I for God? All these questions lead us back to the heart. Returning to the heart. In this, as it were, liquid world of ours, we need to start speaking once more about the heart and thinking about this place where every person of every class and condition creates a synthesis, where they encounter the radical source of their strengths, convictions, passions and decisions. Yet, we find ourselves immersed in societies of serial consumers who live from day to day, dominated by the hectic pace and bombarded by technology, lacking in the patience needed to engage in the processes that an interior life by its very nature requires. In contemporary society, people risk losing their center, the center of their very selves. Indeed, the men and women of our time often find themselves confused and torn apart, almost bereft of an inner principle that can create unity and harmony in their lives and actions. Models of behavior that, sadly, are now widespread exaggerate our rational technological dimension or, on the contrary, that of our instincts. No room is left for the heart. The issues raised by today's liquid society are much discussed, but this deprecation of the deep core of our humanity, the heart, has a much longer history. We find it already present in Hellenic and pre-Christian rationalism, in post-Christian idealism, and in materialism in its various guises. The heart has been ignored in anthropology, and the great philosophical tradition finds it a foreign notion, preferring other concepts such as reason, will, or freedom. The very meaning of the term is imprecise and hard to situate within our human experience. Perhaps this is due to the difficulty of treating it as a clear and distinct idea, or because it entails the question of self-understanding, where the deepest part of us is also that which is least known. Even encountering others does not necessarily prove to be a way of encountering ourselves, inasmuch as our thought patterns are dominated by an unhealthy individualism. Many people feel safer constructing their systems of thought in the more readily controllable domain of intelligence and will. The failure to make room for the heart as distinct from our human powers and passions viewed in isolation from one another has resulted in a stunting of the idea of a personal center in which love, in the end, is the one reality that can unify all others. If we devalue the heart, we also devalue what it means to speak from the heart, to act with the heart, to cultivate and heal the heart. If we fail to appreciate the specificity of the heart, we miss the messages that the mind alone cannot communicate. We miss out on the richness of our encounters with others. We miss out on poetry. We also lose track of history and our own past, since our real personal history is built with the heart. At the end of our lives, that alone will matter. Here ends our third reading.
Let's move.